You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Hours, the high 79. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 68 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning and welcome into a Friday edition of Inside the Locker Room. Everybody had a great evening last night. Phone number, get it on the show, 205-342-9904. If you want to jump in on the show with us this morning, X at Locker Room 109 at Barry Sanderson at Wimp Sanderson 1. And our email for the show is always Wimp and Barry at yahoo.com. Download that Tide 100.9 app. A lot going on over the weekend. You got Alabama basketball tonight. So if you're not in Coleman Coliseum, I'll check to see what channel that game's on tonight. But you can certainly listen to Brian Passink and Chris Stewart on the app. Also football, obviously, tomorrow night with the Alabama taking on the LSU Bengal Tigers at 6:30 over in Baton Rouge. We want to thank Yellowwood, pressure-treated pine from Great Southern Wood. Always remember, guys, you're going to build the 5-star backyard, the fence, the deck, the pergola. There is only one choice, and that would be Yellowwood. To find a dealer that is closer to you, go to yellowwood.com. And always remember, if it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, then you don't want. Great time of year now. College basketball is in full force tonight. You actually got, besides the Alabama game, Kansas and North Carolina. Nice game there. So a lot to watch over the weekend with basketball tonight. Alabama takes on Arkansas State, 7 o'clock, Brian Hodgkin. I guess their bus broke down, Dad, on the way over, and it had something wrong with one of the belts, and Brian Hodgkin fixed the bus, they say. So he fixed it. I guess he used to work on cars, but they are here. I think they missed their practice, but they are here, and I'm sure they'll practice this morning, and it should be a fast-paced game tonight. Good morning, Chase. Good morning, Dad. How are you guys this morning?
I'm fine. F State lost last night to Coastal Carolina, 38-24. East Carolina had a coaching change. I think sometimes when you have one, you have a team maybe that's upset with the old coach because they weren't winning. But whatever, they beat FAU or Atlantic 49-14. Tonight you got about 4 good games to watch. I don't know how good they'll be. California and Wake play at 7. Iowa and UCLA will be kind of interesting, maybe. Rice and Memphis. Rice has a new coach. They've changed coaches. New Mexico plays San Diego, so those will be some of the games that will be on tonight. In basketball, Jacksonville beat Florida. Florida beat Jacksonville. Pardon me. Florida beat Jacksonville 80-61, I think it was, and they're one of the teams that is going to be interesting to watch because they got the big guy. I think it's 7-9 or something.
I watched them against Central Florida. I don't think he played in that game, so I don't know about last night.
I didn't get to see it. Not a whole lot of games that probably our fans would be interested in. Only thing, of course, I'm interested in is the ones y'all are interested in. North Alabama, I'm interested in North Alabama. They won over Point University, a good win for North Alabama. And let's see, Wake Forest won, beat somebody, Wisconsin. Utah won. Utah has the chance to have a good team this time. In high school football, Hoover beat Fairhope wasn't quite sure what the facility there. I assume that they're not tearing down Coleman. I guess that they're planning on building this new. Barry may know. I don't know. New facility beside Coleman, a practice facility, is and they've got that approved. I think that's going to be the new facility rather than going to the other place. Is that correct?
Well, it's just going to be they're adding on, so they're building the men's team, a weight room, practice area, training area, locker rooms. I think the women will take over the part that they're in now, so that will get the women out of Foster. They'll be able to have their own practice facility. I think that will give. I think volleyball still uses Foster.
But it's not involved at all with the new arena or anything.
No, they did approve. Or they're going to approve today. They're going to upgrade the Wi-Fi, guys, for Bryant-Denny Stadium and for Coleman Coliseum. So to enhance the fan experience. So you'll be able to text people within the arena. You'll be able to look on your phone and see which concession stand is not quite as full, and you can go to the right concession stand. Dad and Chase, this show to a tune of, are you guys ready? $13.3 million to upgrade the Wi-Fi. So what's going to happen is everybody's going to go to the game, and they're going to be on their phone the entire game and not watch the game. So you will be, not this year, but next year you'll be able to play on your phone during the games. Now, basically, they're going to spend $13.3 million to do that in the facility. So I don't know what all you have to put in there to. Why is that $13 million? Chase? Would you have any? Why would Wi-Fi like that cost $13? I mean, I know Bryant-Denny's a big stadium, but come on. $13 million?
You kind of think about it, though, like they're so involved with technology nowadays in games. You know, you can use a barcode on the screen. You know, you can, like, order things now. So a lot of people, my friends, too, have been like, the Wi-Fi is bad. I can't even call my mom.
Next year, and I think they said something for safety. I don't, maybe if you're having a problem, you can get somebody. Anyway, that's for next season. So, yeah, Dad, but that answers your question. That practice facility, they've already broken ground on that. So the parking now in Coleman Coliseum, there's not much parking left. I had to take most of that back parking lot where that's going to go. I think the media's parking in that parking deck, kind of caddy corner across from the baseball field. And a lot of people are having to park over there by the rec center lot. And they have the buses that come in. So anyway, hey, there was announced, Dad, yesterday that Florida is keeping Billy Napier. And I thought Max was a little out there on that one, saying
I
that.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I thought that, but Max said that. And as I said, one of the reasons is the way they played against Georgia.
Yeah.
So
I just think that's you gotta. I mean, they got a freshman quarterback. They think he's really good. You gotta have stability. And that schedule, everybody knew how tough it was. And I think they know that Florida's about to go through a bad stretch, and the guy's going to get a lot of flack. But I think it was a smart move to come out and say it now, even when they go through this tough stretch. It will end the speculation and all that he's back. I think that's smart for Florida to come out and say that, don't you?
yeah, I think that they may get beat bad by Texas, but I think really it deserves a chance to keep it going again. I don't know who you'd hire. I think he knows what he's doing. It's just they've had a lot of bad luck. I don't really know, but I'm glad he's going to stay on.
Yeah. All right. And SEC basketball tonight. You've got a lot of teams playing. Grambling will take on Ole Miss. Ole Miss 21.5-point favorite. That game is in the Pavilion right there in Oxford. So a big weekend in Oxford with basketball and football. South Carolina State will take on the Gamecocks. Gamecocks trying to get back on the winning ways. Georgia State travels to Mississippi State. Mississippi State 21.5-point favorite. Arkansas State, Alabama is on ESPN Plus. That in Alabama is a 22.5-point favorite. The over/under 167.5 tonight in that game. Texas A&M Commerce goes to Texas A&M. Houston Christian will take on Texas, and Howard will take on Missouri. So no great games. But tomorrow, Dad, I want to talk about this slate. At 8:30 tomorrow night on ESPNU, Auburn takes on Houston. They're playing in the Toyota Center there in Houston where the Rockets play. Pretty tough matchup there. What are your thoughts on Auburn going up against a really tough defensive team with Kelvin Sampson? You think Auburn can go get that done over in the Toyota Center?
I really don't know. It's a little bit too early for me to decide who's good. I think Auburn is better. They've worked hard defensively. Houston's always hard-nosed and will get after you pretty good. I don't have any idea who will win the game. Auburn, I think Bruce feels good about his team. Point guard left, went to Alabama, but they've got other guys. The big Broom guy's a very good player. So I think it'll be maybe a little bit more of a low-scoring game than a high-scoring game. I think they'll rely more on the defense than they will the offense, both teams.
Yeah, and it'll give Alabama fans a chance to see Houston, who Alabama will take on in Las Vegas later on this month. Another interesting game tomorrow, Tennessee will go to Louisville. Louisville's got the new coach there. That game is in the Yum Center there. That game's at 11 o'clock. It's on the ACC network. Bucknell will take on Kentucky. Another interesting game tomorrow. Baylor coming off an absolute thrashing. Will go to Dallas where the Mavericks play and take on Arkansas. Dad, John Calipari and his team will play Baylor. So some nice games on ESPNU. So even they're going against football there, but Baylor, Arkansas, nice test for John Calipari's team. Baylor coming off a 40-point loss to Gonzaga. So none of us know about these teams, but Baylor currently is ranked 8, and Arkansas is 16. So some pretty good matchups here early in the year. Just your thought.
I got a lot of criticism from a football network I'm on about my blue plate.
Really?
When I said North Texas and that Army was way overrated, they couldn't beat anybody. And then I said, well, I'm taking Army. He said, I don't like that. They don't like that. So I got Army, so we'll see what happens.
When they don't like it, that means
5.5. He said that's what he said.
Yeah. So when they say they don't like it, Chase, that normally means it's good. So maybe want to double down on that one, Chase. The Alabama line went down 0.5 point. That means the money's poured in on LSU. I know people don't like me. I get it. I don't think Alabama's going to win this game, to be quite honest with you. I might be wrong. I think somebody told me Kalen DeBoer was 7-0 after weeks off. I don't know. Do you think they're going to win it, Dan?
I think it's going to be difficult. What I think.
Chase?
I don't know.
Chase, who wins this game? I mean, I know all these Alabama glasses guys are going to pick Alabama, but I'm not feeling it. I hope I'm wrong. Usually I am wrong, so hopefully I am.
Yeah, I think I got Bama in this one. I am scared though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not confident, so I feel you.
I don't think this game will go. I disagree with JC. Daddy, I don't get your thoughts. The over/under is 58.5. I think the clock runs a lot. I think there's a lot of pressure in this game. I don't see these teams just running up and down the field on each other and getting 58.5. Now, it means I'm wrong. It means probably go over. Do you think this game goes over or under 58.5, Dan?
I think probably under.
Yeah. I don't know. There was a reason for it. I guess LSU's defense is not great, but they can move the football. But when you have 2 weeks to get ready, you would think that the defenses would play a little bit better than, of course, the offenses had 2 weeks to get ready as well. So we'll see what happens. That's what makes it fun. All right, we'll take the break here. Open up the phone lines, 205-342-9904. Also, Chase, see if you can find some Nate Oates audio. I'm sure he met with the media yesterday in preparation for this game tonight. I think it's a sellout tonight over there at Coleman Coliseum. 2-minute truck. They're at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need to make this a smooth move. It's local, Out of town, out of state, no problem. Let the professionals handle it. Give them a call today, 205-247-5050. That is 2 men in a truck, movers who care.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. Governor Ivey has helped cut the ribbon to Smucker's new $1.1 billion facility to produce the popular Uncrustables brand frozen sandwich treat. The 900,000 square foot factory located at PB&J Way, just across the county line in McCalla, is the company's largest facility. Roughly 340 of 400 employees have already been hired. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news. It's free all throughout the day. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF to you. We've got a Friday light still going on for right now. Looking at Lurleen Wallace, however, that's starting to definitely pick up some volume on the northbound lanes to McFarland Boulevard, but this is pretty much basic rush to work travels. And you're also looking at a little bit of a slow roll on McFarland eastbound lanes to Lurleen Wallace.
Fridays at the Free at Innisfree Irish Pub, 1925 University Boulevard, downtown. Come join Wyatt Fulton for lunch at Innisfree Irish Pub.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance and is...
Or you can shop online at TuscaloosaCDJR.com. At Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you pick it out and we'll work it out. Roll Tide.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays unseasonably warm today. Partly sunny. A few isolated showers are possible through tonight. The high today 80, tonight's low 64. For tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, a chance of widely scattered showers. The high 79. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 68 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Roll Tide, the best sports talk, period. Your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Pressure-treated pine from Great Southern Wood. Doesn't have the yellow tag and all that. You don't want. All right, I did a little study on your blue plate. The line did fall. You had to face it 4 now, so the money must be pouring in on the 5.5, which moved it down to 4. But I'm looking at North Texas. Of course, the games that there are 3 losses. They lost to Texas Tech. They gave up 66 points. After that, they beaten South Alabama 52-38 to start the season. They beat Stephen F. Austin 35-20. Lost to Texas Tech. Beat Wyoming 44-17. We know Tulsa's bad. They beat Tulsa 52-20. Florida Atlantic is not good. They beat them 41-37. Then the last 2 games, Memphis beat them 52-44. I think Memphis is good. And then Tulane beat them 45-37. So they're 5-3. Army is currently 8-0 and 6-0 in the league. And the line did go down a little bit. Well, what made you to kind of decide on Army, just for the listener that might decide to?
Well, I guess maybe the record 8-0. I think Army is so well disciplined, so smart, and I thought the line was so low. And I don't really think North Texas has a great home field advantage. I couldn't find it. I probably should have taken Indiana, but I didn't, and that's the best I can with it. But as I look at it, if the 2 that I got it down to was in Indiana and Michigan. Indiana scored a lot of points. They want to be darn sure they kill Michigan. That's big for them. So I don't know. I gave you a very good answer, but I got it down to those 2 and decided on North Texas on Army. And after I did, probably thought to myself, I wish I had gone with Indiana.
Indiana, that one. who knows? Michigan, but it's, Michigan could rally up. But one of the crazy lines, of course, Florida State is 1-8. How's that even possible? They're a 26.5 point underdog against Notre Dame. 20. I mean, you could get Florida State in 26.5. Here's an interesting Dad. Oklahoma. I don't know what you think about them. They're 1-4. They're going to Missouri. Missouri is still 6-2. They've looked bad in their 2 losses, but that line is only 3. Oklahoma -3. So you actually could get points in Missouri at home. Is that? I don't know if that quarterback.
I think that's a good. If the quarterback is well, that's good. That's good. That's a good bet. I don't know how well the quarterback is. Never have been able to decide that. Missouri's up and down. Coach Saban said they had an easy schedule, and they didn't like what he said there. So I don't know. It's just kind of a, like you say, a gamble. These officials will get at you. I mean, these guys that make the bets will give you a half a points, which makes it another touchdown or another field goal they have to score. So I don't know. It's going to be a kind of an interesting week. LSU's Nussmeier is better than people think. They'll be so ready to play, like Barry said, and the crowd will have some influence on the game, on the kids to continually play the entire game. I'm not saying Alabama won't, but you look for them to, you look for them in these games sometimes to get a little bit tired. They won't get as tired in this game as they normally do. They'll play their fannies off. And Coach Bryant went down there. I keep saying that doesn't really matter, but Coach Bryant went down there and was able to beat them a lot of times. And but generally speaking, they're hard to beat.
Yeah. A game, if you're an Alabama fan, Washington takes on Penn State. And I can't believe that the idiot Feinbaum would come out and say that James Franklin should be fired. Huh? I mean, yeah, he didn't beat Ohio State. But, I mean, James Franklin, how many people would line up to hire James Franklin? He's 7-1. He's 4-1 in the Big Ten. When he inherited that job, it was a kind of a mess, to be quite honest with you. So to say that this guy should be fired is just, they ought to smack you for saying, they ought to fire you for having such a dumb take. BYU, Dad, as a team everybody's looking at, they travel to Utah. That game's a night game, late game at Utah. Probably a pretty big rivalry there between BYU and Utah. A lot of people need BYU to lose. Utah's out of it. BYU 3-point favorite there. Just your thoughts about how difficult it is to play at Utah. No, it's not a great Utah team, but they would like to end BYU's hopes of getting to the college football playoff. Your thoughts about that particular
game? Well, Utah's not good, but not playing quite as well as they have been. But they're very, very hard-nosed. They get that from the coach that was there. They're not the Utah all the old, but Barry's right that they'll do everything they possibly can because that's a big time rival. We don't think about it down here that much, and it doesn't hit us as much. But that should be a very interesting game. The games are good this weekend. They're not the great games. Florida's 21-point dog down at Texas, and I think they made that announcement because they felt like maybe that it's going to be very, very difficult for him down there. That people are going to start in on him again, and I think
that line actually went up. You get Florida 22.5 right now. Yeah. That's a lot of points. 22.5. Okay, I know I'm being the pessimist. Let's say Alabama does lose this game. All right, Chase and Dad. How difficult is those coaching staff's job going to be, Dad, when they've got, of course, they've got winnable games, but they do have Oklahoma, Mercer, and Auburn, but keeping this team interested in playing when when, it's national championship or bust here, that would knock them out of the college football playoff. They have a difficult job, I think, there to keep this team motivated if somehow they were to drop this game Saturday against LSU.
Yeah, it becomes a head game for the last 3 games. And that I mean, you've got to get in their heads. You got to get your players to rally and your leaders. And the problem is that you're not rallying for anything. I mean, you need to beat Auburn, and you're playing them at home, so you have a great chance to do that. So, I think the answer to the question is very difficult.
Yeah,
that's the answer. That's a quick answer, but it's not easy because you got to get to the guys that lead your team. That lead your team are going to be the ones who help you get ready to play, help you in the locker room before and after the game, and those kinds of things. And, I don't know how good Mercer is. I have no idea.
No, they're no good. But Oklahoma's not. But going out there, they'll be more excited to play you. And they're not having a good year either. But that would be one.
Oklahoma will be hard to beat.
Yeah, hopefully Alabama wins this game. And then it looks like it's set up. If they're ready to play, then they should clean the rest of the games. They should win at Oklahoma. They should beat Mercer. It'll be hard to beat Oklahoma.
It sure will. I don't think Oklahoma's any gift.
And then Auburn at home. And Auburn will come in and probably play loose as a goose, but I don't know what Auburn's got, to be quite honest with you. I will take this break. No guests this hour, so get the phone calls in here, 205-342-9904. Hopefully we'll get Coach Sonny Smith in the second hour, the retired Coach Sonny Smith. He's got his feet up. He's not doing Auburn basketball anymore, so we'll congratulate him on that in the second hour. You listen to Tide, unless he's sleeping in because he's retired, Chase. You listen to Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC is the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF to you. We've got a Friday light still going on for right now. Looking at Lurleen Wallace, however, that's starting to definitely pick up some volume on the northbound lanes to McFarland Boulevard, but this is pretty much basic rush to work travels. And you're also looking at a little bit of a slow roll on McFarland eastbound lanes to Lurleen.
Introducing a fresh new way to save with your Baker's Points. Now you can choose between saving on fuel or saving on your next purchase with new Rewards Cash. You'll still earn points every time you shop at Baker's. Then when you're ready to redeem your points, you can choose to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump or redeem your points to save on your next purchase. It's a fresh new way to save. Your points, your choice. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Not available in all locations. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
RexMD.com, we've made the process fast, easy, and affordable. Visit RexMD.com right now to get started. That's REXMD.com.
Two-time state champion and two-time NIT champion, Barry Sanderson breaks down the latest in sports on Inside the Locker Room on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Pressure treated pine from Great Southern Wood. Always remember, guys, if it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. All right, get to the Yellowwood Hotline. The phone lines are open. We got lines open 205-342-9904. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
Very good morning. Good morning, Coach. How are y'all?
We're good. How are you, buddy?
Good. Digger, I was going to say, based on his phone call yesterday, Digger, when the people from Texas figure out the SEC referees, send us a letter over or make a phone call or something, because, by God, we've been trying to figure them out for 10 years, and we can't do it yet. This bunch we got refereeing games, I've never seen anything this bad in my life.
Yeah. Do you think replay helps officiating? I don't.
I used to. Now I just believe it's just plain out incompetent.
I mean, I want them to get the calls right, but sometimes I think they just rely on replay. They just, I don't know, some of the stuff they call is just.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else, too. I think that they've got a misunderstanding of what their role in in sports is. And I'm not talking about just football. I'm talking about basketball. And, of course, the infection hadn't got to baseball yet that I can tell. But for basketball and football, they think they're more important than they are. And, of course, now I will say the game that we had with Memphis, when the coaches agreed that nobody was going to foul out of that game, and it became chaotic on fouls. And I said, well, maybe this is what it would be like if you don't have officials. And it was a horrible game to watch. And so, I do think that the officials have they have too much to do with the outcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Last year at Tennessee, or year before last at Tennessee, I mean, we intercept the ball and then they throw the flag on it being interference. That's just bull right there. I mean, if it's interference, throw it when it happens, not after somebody makes a play on the ball. You know what I'm saying? That's one example that comes to my mind. But anyway, I agree with you. We're not going.
On the flip side, and I'm not talking about SEC officials. Those guys are being compensated pretty darn well, and they've had to climb the ranks to get there. They don't just hand those jobs out. But we had a scrimmage last night with my freshman team, my JV team, and my varsity team, and I talked to the director of officials, Mike McCreary. He brought officials over, and they were literally trying to help train these. They're having such a difficult time getting people to call middle school, high school, because of, honestly, people like me, the way I act on the sideline, and parents and fans getting all of them. These guys are hardly making any money. So I would encourage, and of course, me saying this, people are probably laughing. I would encourage people to kind of stay off the officials as much as possible. I mean, they understand it's part of the game, but we're having a difficult time, I think, getting people to want to be officials, to be honest with you, especially at the middle school and high school level. There's just not enough to go around. They had some guys and some ladies in there last night training, trying to, help them, which I appreciate that these guys they pay pretty good, actually, in high school. It's not too bad, but at least out there trying to learn and get better, so we have people to call these games. To be quite honest with you, I think there's probably a shortage on officials across the state of Alabama.
I think it is. I've read articles where the association has said, that they're having a hard time because of and there is a certain level. Let's face it, if you're a referee, there's a certain level of abuse, verbal abuse, that you just got to be like a duck water off the bat. But I don't say anything to people that volunteer, volunteer or high school or anything like that. But, at the level of what's at stake in college and NFL, I go back. My wife quit watching NFL because of a pass interference call that was made against the Saints, that should have been called against the Saints about 3 or 4 years ago. God. They had a team that was capable of going to the Super Bowl, and her and those biddies that she talks to, are Saints fans, they were so frustrated. Yeah, biddies.
I think your wife must have money on the game, Tom. She must have lost a lot.
No, she don't. She don't. You don't
know that. She has not watched the NFL since.
That's right, because they increasingly, all Saints fans think everything's rigged, conspiracy against them anyway. That's automatic every year, and then when that happened, oh my God, that was the end of the line. And but the point I'm trying to make about it is, it was obvious to everybody and their brother, all the way down to their third cousin, 27 times removed by marriage, that it was interference. And they didn't call it.
They choked. Sometimes they choke on the call. It's like,
and then come to find out,
players and coaches choke sometimes. We
not so, that bad. But we had a game where Coach even said, and he gives them more, cuts them more slack than anybody.
Who does?
But Coach
who?
Sanderson
gives officials more slack
not
than
when
anybody.
he was working. I'm talking about now on the radio. No, he was right back then. He should have been fucking them, and because he run them. Never mind, but. The thing about it is, he said they got out of the bus. When they got out of the bus, they was pulling the flag out when it came, and it was that bad. And
I will say this, and Dad will agree with this. In high school football, those guys throw way too many flags. I mean, they throw a flag every play. You know, if it's close to holding, don't throw the flag. Go up to the guy and say, hey, just, hey, watch it. Keep your hands,
Right.
And they throw... They think they get paid by the flag. Now, here I said don't criticize officials, and now I've started criticizing officials. But they throw so many flags that don't need to be thrown.
Well, see, in basketball, too, high school basketball, I think they whistle way too much. And but I don't ever say anything. And but now on this football thing that Digger brought up, he said Texas trying to get a feel for how they call. You'll never understand how this bunch calls. I don't know where they got them from, but you'll never figure it out.
Dad, your thoughts on officials?
Well, I stayed on them a lot. I think it's a very, very difficult job.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest job in football, I did it on a radio show yesterday. I asked these guys, is how to call pass interference if they don't hold. If they hold, if they grab the jersey, or they hold a push or hold, then that's easy. But if you feel like it's a play where the hold is not involved, then it's a very difficult call. So
I agree with that.
But I think one of the worst rules in football, I think you ought to be able to throw the ball away anytime. When you call intentional grounding and the guy's in the pocket, he's about to get his head leveled. They ought to be able to sling that ball out of bounds to nobody and not get hit like they. But when they call that intentional ground, I think it's a bad rule. Because if you talk about player safety,
that's a lie that they floated out about player safety. That's another angle for them to cover their rear end. I want to ask y'all this about football, though. Onside kick, if you kick it and it goes 10 yards and you jump on it before the receiving team does, that's a first down for the kicking team, is it not?
Say it again.
When you run an onside kick play, all right, you kick the ball, it goes 10 yards, and you jump on it before the receiving team gets it. That's a first down for the kicking team, is it not?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. I'm stupid, and I just need somebody to explain it to me. If you kick the ball and it goes down the field, and a player that's on the receiving team just kind of said, okay, I don't want it, I'm going to run off the field. He runs off the field. What if you went down there and covered that ball in the end zone? Wouldn't that be a touchdown?
Yeah. Well, I don't know now. I think the ball may, if it clears it, because a lot of times those guys just run up. If it lands in the end zone, it's dead. I believe they don't catch it because I see those guys just let it go over their head.
See, to me, that's crazy. If you really wanted to enhance the game of football, make that a live ball and make everybody be fighting over it.
Hopefully, the NFL fixes their kickoffs. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I mean, it's sick. Anyway, all right. What about Coach Smith? I mean, what's the deal with him? He had it made.
Well, I think his wife's not doing well, and he wasn't traveling anymore, and I just don't think he wanted to leave her. That's me guessing, but we'll get him to tell us why.
I hope they let me MC that thing down there.
On the 8th. Yeah, they're going to honor it. No, they're going to honor Coach on the 8th, December 8th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
In Neville Arena.
And Coach, you're going to MC it?
No, I said I wish they would. I got to call John Cohen and get a ticket.
It's already got a ticket.
What about I thought Auburn looked really good the other night in their game.
Yeah, I didn't see much of it.
Against Vermont.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, they shot it good, and they're hard to beat. They're hard to beat in that little cracker box down there.
Now you're calling it that. When last year you was all the greatest place.
I like a small place that's packed and intimate. I'm not criticizing it. It is a cracker box.
See you.
See you. Thank you. All right. Tell you what, we got 2 calls here. We got Cowboy and Phil. Let's take a break. We get back, we'll take Cowboy, then we'll take Phillip. Listen to Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Friday morning on the Gary Harris Show at 9 a.m. It's the TGIF edition live from Innisfree Irish Pub, part of Fridays at the Free. We're going to have our Bama football trivia giveaway, plus my SEC point spread predictions, guest, and more. That's Friday morning, 9 a.m. live from Innisfree Irish Pub.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We are in primetime travel now, and the volume's getting a little thicker in a couple of spots, like on 2059 in that southwest direction, just before Joe Malisham Parkway. You got some slow and go traffic inside that construction zone that'll take you back to 359. And
free delivery and financing on select appliances at the Home Depot. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Where the season never ends. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Pressure treated pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. All right, to the Yellowwood hotline, get Cowboy in. Hey, Cowboy.
Morning. Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
What did our friend from Shreveport say on the Alabama-LSU game? Higgins.
Ron
Y'all
Higgins?
talked to him this week? Yeah.
Well, we hadn't talked to Ron. We talked to him, I don't know, a week or so ago. Yeah. But
I didn't know if you looked on the X Twitter machine and see what he was saying or whatever.
He's not a big...
What is his handle?
At Ron Higg, I believe. I don't think he's very active on Twitter. I'll look here while we're talking, see if he's got anything on there.
I got you. I was just wondering what he thought.
What's your feeling on the game? I don't have a good feeling. I'm sorry. I want to.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to kind of be quiet, but I might be thinking like you, Barry. I don't think anybody's giving them any respect.
Giving LSU any respect?
Yeah, that I listen to on your radio network of hosts and all this stuff.
Those guys all got Bama glasses on. They don't even see but one side.
Yeah, they're just talking. 29 and 10 in Baton Rouge and whatever. Well, we're 0-1 in Baton Rouge against Brian Kelly. So I guess that's where we'll start.
Well, you know that he has the right mindset 2 years ago when he got down to it. And he went for 2 for the win, that he had guts to do that. So ain't no telling what he'll do in order to win this game. You there, Cowboy? All right, I'll give you lost Cowboy there. Good calls back. All right, to get to Yellowwood hotline, get Phillip in. Good morning, Phillip.
Morning. Hey, good morning. Hey guys. We decided to head on over there here in a little bit and come to the game tonight. Barry, will you be there?
I haven't decided if I'm going or not. Mac's got a practice at 5:30. We got a baseball tournament tomorrow in Barry, Alabama. So I haven't decided. I got to see what Jenny's doing. So you coming to the game? You coming to the game?
Yeah, me and my son, we're going to leave Lynette around noon and just head over and have a good weekend. And we'll spend the night and come back tomorrow morning. But if you're there, I hope Tom's going to be there. I know Michael Southern's going to be there. I hope to see Michael. I think Tom's going. I'd love to meet Tom. And if we do, we'll take a picture and you can put it on the wall of fame there at the station.
There we go. That'd be great.
But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to coming. But that game tomorrow, there was somebody posted on Twitter on X a minute ago, what's it going to take for Alabama to win. And I'm a little late dialing into your show today, but I'll say this: they got a block like hell.
They got pretty simple. You're not going to play mistake free, but you just can't make a lot of boneheaded plays, but offside, too many men on the field, 2 number 2s out there. You can't have unnecessary penalties. Put yourself in behind what's obvious throwing downs, and you gotta play. You're not gonna be mistake free, but you gotta play a pretty clean game, I think. Phillip.
And I'm praying and hoping that if it's a game that Alabama is not able to win, and I hate to tell you, but I've got that vibe. If it's a game that Alabama can't pull out, I hope that there's not any oddities and weird things that happen, like 2 receivers shooting a basketball and doing all that. I think that would be such a negative to this staff if that were to happen and they lose. They just can't afford to have some odd crap like that happen.
Yeah, I thought Dad was saying something there. Hopefully they clean that up. I think there's some things as a coach you listen to that maybe is coming out from even the fans. Maybe there's some things that need to be corrected. I think some of that stuff will probably get corrected there. I didn't really understand the coach's justification for it. So you hadn't seen a lot of that stuff here lately, but they gotta block better. You got to protect the quarterback better. This line's got to play its best game of the year to be. And
it really does.
Yeah.
It really does, Barry. It does. I mean, there's just no doubt. If they can block and give Jalen, a really good pocket and give him time to do what he needs to do, and he obviously needs it, then I feel a lot better about the game. But if they cave in and we're scrambling around back there, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. You got to be able to spread the ball around, too. It's not one of these deals where you can throw the ball to Ryan Williams every time. I know they tried to spread it around against Missouri, but sometimes when the game's tight, we seem to rely on him a little bit, maybe too much. So hopefully his running backs will be involved, and we can spread the ball around to the receivers a little bit. So they've had some time to kind of get these guys ready to go. So hopefully we'll have a balanced offensive attack, take care of the ball. And then if you do that, then you got to like your chances. But we'll see. That's why they play the game. Phillip, you still there? I don't know. Did we lose? I don't know. Maybe did we lose Phillip there? I thought that was Dad we lost. All right, we'll go ahead and take this top of the hour break. We'll reshift. Cowboy, I'll get back to you when we get back from break. We want to thank Yellowwood, pressure-treated pine from Great Southern. As always, they make this 7 o'clock hour possible. Always remember, guys, if it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, you don't want it.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
Week 10 in the NFL got underway with a great Thursday night football game in Baltimore, an AFC North clash as the Ravens were hosting the Bengals. Cincinnati had a 21-7 lead in the third quarter, but Baltimore would come back behind MVP quarterback Lamar Jackson. He threw 3 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter, 4 overall in the game, to give his team the lead. But Cincinnati quarterback Joe Burrow also threw 4 touchdown passes, 3 of them to star wide receiver Jamar Chase. One in the final seconds that brought his team within 1. Bengals on the road decide go for the 2-point conversion and the win. It was incomplete, and the Ravens hold on for a 35-34 victory. Burrow finished with 428 yards passing. Jamar Chase, 264 yards receiving, but all in a losing effort. Baltimore, the win, improves to 7-3. Cincinnati falls to 4-6. In the NBA, the Timberwolves top the Bulls, 135-119. Bucks over the Jazz, 123-100. Spurs top the Trailblazers, 118-105.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays unseasonably warm today. Partly sunny. A few isolated showers are possible through tonight. The high today 80. Tonight's low 64. For tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. A chance of widely
or enjoy free shipping to your home on purchases over $25. Your new Academy Sports and Outdoor store is located at 4610 U.S. Highway 280 in Birmingham.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. Allstate Insurance agent Andrew Kniffer. Andrew's my agent. Let him become yours. Out at 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. Give he and his staff a call. They can get a great quote for you. Send it right there to you, 205-722-9201. Only one choice in this area. That's Andrew Kniffer, Allstate Insurance. All right, back to the Andrew Kniffer hotline. Get Cowboy in. Sorry, Cowboy, we lost you.
Yeah, that's all right. What kind of gives you a bad feeling? You were talking about it, and then I kind of dropped you, and then I was talking about if Brian Kelly were to lose this game, he might lose the fan base down there, and I guess I kind of dropped you. But.
You think he'll lose the fan base if he loses this game?
Well, it's 3 losses this year. I don't know. He might can keep them on his side. Half of them like him, half of them don't. This might. I don't know. You know how it is down there at LSU. They are passionate about their football team. Your guest said something 2 weeks ago that it kind of hit home with me. I've gotten older. I don't have the passion like I did, but as a young, I had that passion. I think Alabama fans have the same passion as LSU fans have. They just get upset when they get beat, and they just, really get upset. And it's a big ball game. It really is. ESPN this morning was billed as the biggest game in the country tomorrow. It probably is. Yeah,
there is. I don't think it's even worth discussing what you, as Alabama fan, what you would need to happen in order for, if they win, they're fine. If they lose, it doesn't matter. So these other games really don't, as far as Alabama in the playoff, they don't really matter, do they, Cowboy, at the end of the day, if you don't win.
Yeah, but if you win this one, then you're still alive, but there's a booger bear waiting up there in Norman. If this weather is like it is out here today, in 2 weeks up there, wouldn't be pretty. Venables is like a wounded dog or fighting for his life. And if he could, somehow beat Missouri tomorrow and then got an off week again, then Alabama, he might, that'd be a tough ball game up there. They're not going to roll over and lay dead.
No, Dad and I were looking at some, that BYU, Utah's not great, but Utah would love to ruin BYU's season. That game 9:30. So there are some interesting games that can have some effect on these teams that are 9, 10, 11, 12. If Georgia, if you're an Alabama fan, where I guess it doesn't matter, that's what I just said, but you want Georgia to win, right? You want them to knock off Ole Miss, get Ole Miss out of there. That makes your win even a little better.
I'd like to see Kiffin get him a big win finally. I like the guy.
Don't say that. I like him.
I don't think he'll win, but I'd like to see him get a win.
Yeah. You think South Carolina at Vandy? I'm picking the Gamecocks in that one. What you thinking there, Cowboy?
I'm thinking South Carolina too.
Yeah.
They may have celebrated a little too much on the field after they beat Auburn. They kind of rubbed it in a little bit, didn't they?
You talking about after they beat Texas A&M?
No, Vanderbilt beat Auburn.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about. Yeah, did you see when that Diego Pavia was walking off the field? He was talking about three times he had won there, and then all of a sudden there was some Auburn, and then he was talking a little smack to the Auburn players. I think some of the staff came in and had to separate those guys. It was kind of getting kind of chippy there. You don't think of Vanderbilt as a team talking trash, but this guy's kind of changed their mindset over there a little bit, to be quite honest with you, where they think they're going to win. Now, they used to hope maybe to win one. They believe now.
Yeah,
with
well,
this quarterback.
they better find him another Diego Pava to come out the building next year, or
Yeah.
they'll be back where they were.
Yeah.
And then Gary Keel were to say, "I'm done after consulting for 1 year." I don't know. The guy was 2-10 last year. We'll see what he does next year.
Yeah.
Hey, what gives you a bad feeling about tomorrow?
This team hasn't been very good on the road. I mean, they played well at Wisconsin, but they didn't play well at Vandy. They didn't play well at Tennessee. They're 0-2 on the conference on the road. I just think they make so many mistakes, and this line just lets people get by them so bad. You're always playing from behind, and I get worried when they get down. They kind of abandon their game plan a little bit. I thought they did it against Tennessee when you sling it around 45 times. I thought when they got down 2 scores against Vanderbilt in the first quarter, they kind of went away from their game. So I don't know. I just don't have – but I'm hoping they play their best game. The week off is going to help them, and these guys played great. I'm just not as confident about it as I normally am when Alabama, travels over.
I understand. Hey, one last thing. President Trump's new chief of staff for the White House is Pat Summerall's daughter. I found that out this morning. I didn't realize that. The lady that's really behind the scenes. It's Pat Summerall's daughter.
Yeah,
the broadcaster. Boy, he was good, wasn't he, Coach? Well, Barry, you remember him.
Yeah, Pat Summerall was absolutely outstanding. Yeah, so.
He was from Lake City, Florida, wasn't he? Pat Summerall.
Sounds right. So.
And, yeah. All right,
Cowboy. Thank you, sir. Have a great weekend.
Hey, did you see that Brian Hodgson had to fix the Arkansas State bus coming to town?
Yeah, there's a picture of him on X. He's got the hood up of the bus, and he's back under there working. So Brian Hodgson, he can do a lot of things.
Would y'all take him up? Would y'all take him some rags down there so he could clean his hands?
Yeah, I'll find out where Brian's staying. He used to live down the street. I'll find out where he's staying, take him something, make sure he gets that grease out of his fingernails. So thank you, Cowboy.
All right, big deal.
All right, that'll be interesting tonight, Chase. You'll see Brian Hodgson. He's bringing Nate Oates' style with not the talent. Obviously, he doesn't have the talent Alabama has. You don't get that at Arkansas State, but we know Brian Hodgson's a great recruiter. He'll get the best players possible. I don't know a ton about their person. I do know they beat Akron, and I know Akron is very well coached. They beat them in overtime, so they're 1-0. He knows the system here inside and out. So now whether he's got guys good enough to defend these guys, you can know it, but sometimes you know it and being able to stop it is two different things. But I think they should be comfortable coming in here knowing what Alabama will do, because he's spent a lot of time with Nate Oates. Obviously at Buffalo helped him get that job going. Then he did not get the job, came here and really helped build this thing. He went out and got Brandon Miller, a lot of these guys that are here now, and that played a big part. And this new coaching staff's done a great job in recruiting as well, but I think he kind of got it going because he could sell Nate Oates, and so did a great job recruiting early, and then Coach Murphy and these guys have just picked it up. They'd probably take it to another level, to be quite honest with you, with recruiting. So congratulations to those guys, man. They got really good players. They do a really good job of coaching them. They play hard. They respect the game. That's a great combination for Alabama basketball. So it should be a great year. The line, like I said, is 22.5 tonight. If Alabama gets rolling, they probably could cover that 22.5 pretty easily. Then they got McNeese State on Monday, and then it's like a who's who of basketball they have coming up after that. So it should be fun. I think Coleman Coliseum, I know it's high school football night. The playoffs start tonight as well. So if you have tickets for the game, you're not going to be able to go. They made it pretty easy to transfer those tickets to people. So make sure you have butts. Say Friday night, a lot of people would love to be out there and attend and watch this basketball team play. So don't just leave your tickets and not send them to somebody if you can't go. I know Northridge is traveling down to the it's kind of down by the Auburn line to take on, who are they playing tonight? Russell County, I think it is, who they're playing tonight. So, anyway, it should be a great night of high school football. Some teams will finish up tonight. Next teams, I know TA's at home tonight, and some of those guys will be going right to basketball as this season comes to an end. Tuscaloosa Toyota, go to TuscaloosaToyota.com. You can look at all the new inventory, the pre-owned inventory. You can order a part, schedule a service. More importantly, you can rent you a Toyota right there. So don't pay those high dollars prices for renting a Toyota. Do it right there at TuscaloosaToyota.com. Great deals out there right now. We've talked to Justin about, man, if you want to get one of your loved ones a car for Christmas, now's a great time to go in there, sit down with them, get the exact car you want. They have plenty of time to get it. If they don't have it on the lot, they can hold it for you there until Christmas comes. Put a bow on there for you. So for all your needs, right there at Tuscaloosa Toyota, these guys are ready, willing to take great care of you. They've done it for my family. I know we've used them a ton out there, and every experience has been A+ with us. Listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. That line is getting a little longer and heavier on 2059 on the southwest lanes at Joe Malisham Parkway inside that construction zone. So you do have a delay back to 359. And we're also picking up the pace on McFarland on the eastbound.
Is the place to be. Visit us now to save big and discover why so many are switching to BMW. BMW of Tuscaloosa. Take your dreams for a drive.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by Guthrie's. America's original chicken finger restaurant is an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On yesterday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we were joined by ABC sideline reporter Holly Rowe.
One of the storylines that I'm really following is how this defense is growing and improving week to week. You know, it's a different defense. It's a new system. It's a new style. And I'm sure fans feel some kind of way about that. But as I'm talking to some of the guys, one of the players that I don't feel like is getting a lot of national publicity that I'm obsessed with is Jahad Campbell. So he is, I think, one of the most interesting players in college football. He can play all four positions. He is, I talked to him yesterday, actually, to get some notes for the game, and he described himself as a Swiss Army knife. And he was so cute. He's like, you know what a Swiss Army knife is? And I said, yes.
I'll have more in a moment.
Guthrie's was America's first chicken finger restaurant, and now Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers is your Bama tailgate headquarters. Make Guthrie's and their famous signature dipping sauce your one-stop shop for all your tailgate needs. Order online or call ahead and place your game day orders now. Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant, and now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
We've got you covered for Alabama football on Saturday against LSU. Our radio start time across the network is set for 3:30 p.m. with kickoff at 6:30. Remember to listen to the game on the full radio network, the Varsity Network app, as well as watch the Yay Alabama booth cam on all CTSN social media platforms. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Mr. SEC Tournament Wimp Sanderson gives you his excellent analysis every weekday on Inside the Locker Room, right here on Tide 100.9.
I ran off to the bar. Another piece of heaven gone to hell. The words we spoke in anger just tore my world apart. And I sat there feeling sorry for myself. Then an old man sat down beside me.
And I'm so glad that Coach Sonny Smith brought this song into our life, Chase. That's good. That's good right there. You have to admit. All right. I hate to tell Coach, it's just me and you this morning. That might be a good thing, though. But we're fixing to get the NABC District 6 Coach of the Year, Ohio Valley Coach of the Year, 2-time SEC Coach of the Year, CAA Coach of the Year, Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. He will be honored December the 8th in Neville Arena for a great broadcast career as well. Coach Sonny Smith. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. Well, I love that introduction. I'm going to have to bring you to when they do things for me. Let you introduce me, man.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a little.
You're making my ego. You're running my ego out of sight.
I'm gonna give you a little warning because I love you. All right. Dad is trying. He's not on with us right now, so he is working behind the scenes. That they'll invite him down there to MC your thing for your thing, and so you do not want that to happen. So just whoever
you want me to try to stop it.
Yeah, whoever the decision maker is down there, you better get to him because you certainly don't want that. Right?
He might mess that party up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I will tell the listeners. I read about. I was actually coming home the other night. I'd gone up to see my mom, and I was driving home for the Vermont game, and I heard, I guess it's Randall Dickey on the dial. Then when I got home, I pulled up and saw that you were hanging up the headset. Just kind of tell everybody what's going on there with you with Auburn basketball.
Well, it's one of those things where I think the guy they need to do is going to do it at home as well as on the road. You know, so if he's just going to do assorted games, that's not good. He needs to be the voice of the Auburn Tigers, you know, or the whatever you call it. And it would be better. And I think it's me for them letting me do it's kind of a token type thing, and I don't really need it. You know, if I needed it, I'd jump all over that. But I've reached that point in my career where I don't need those type of things.
Yeah, well, you mean a lot to Auburn basketball. Tell us, so on the 8th is when they're going to maybe honor you there. Tell us. I mean, you may not know the details of it, but kind of what's going on there with that.
Well, I really don't know. You know, I've just been told. I told Sherry, just make sure you get me to the ballpark. Just get a close parking spot and get close to the ball. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
But they've been great for me, so I actually enjoyed the broadcast. Somebody said, "Why do you do that, son? At your age?" And I think I've told you this. I do it because it gets me a front row seat and it gets me to the game. It's better to do that than to stay at home and miss everything. So as long as I got the health to do it, I'm going to kind of continue to do little things like that. So because it kind of juices me up a little bit.
Sure. Let's talk about this Auburn basketball team. They took on Vermont, a Vermont team that beat UAB 2 days prior to coming down there. So I know that had Auburn's attention. Man, they jumped on them from the get-go. A huge win. I think it was 50-something points there. So they're just hard to beat down there, Coach. With that crowd in there, and they play with such energy in that arena. They shot the ball extremely well. They got linked around the rim to block shots. Just what did you see when Auburn took on Vermont?
Well, I think this is a very good team. And the reason I say that is I'm looking for weaknesses. Do they have depth? And it appeared to me in a game like that the depth, there was a great additions as far as the depth is concerned. And I felt like if they had a deep team, they had a chance to go a long way. And I knew they had a good starting five, and I knew they had a couple of guys that could step up and have big games. But I wasn't sure the depth was there. But according to what seemed to happen the other night, I think they may not have as much of a depth problem as I was thinking they would.
Yeah, they got some freshmen that they're counting on, but you also got Janiah Broome, Baker Mazzara. I think he's really good. I know he started out, he's shooting the ball pretty well from the perimeter. Caldwell's back. So they have some veterans, kind of like Alabama, but then some young. You inject some young talent in there as well, and those guys don't have to be the savior. And I'm sure the older guys probably help the younger guys in these types of deals. Just talk about
Well, they got a transfer from Furman. I hesitate to pronounce his name, Pegue. He is really, really good. I think he's one of the better additions that they've had in a long time from a transfer standpoint. And I think he's going to make them a solid team because I think he's going to be a double-figure scorer every night. Not a big-time double-figure scorer, but I think he's going to get around a 10 and a little bit more every night. He's that steady. And I think that people were thinking that had been around the team for years that depth might be a problem. But as it looked in the first game, I don't know if you can judge it in that one game, but it looked like the depth might be a little bit better than everybody think. And that was my question. Is this team depth good enough to take them a long way in tournament play or take them a long way in regular season play? And I believe it will.
Yeah, you're talking about J.P. Pegues. He averaged 18 points a game last year at Furman. Furman's really good. If you average, I don't care what league you're in, if you average 18 points in Division I, then you're a good basketball player. So you're right there. The addition there of him is going to be big for this team.
Well, they're big. They're high on him. They really are high, and I have yet to see him play. But based on the way everybody's talking, he's a great addition.
Yeah.
And not only that, they're talking about what a great kid he was. So that really, when you take transfers, a lot of times. First thing starts going through people's mind, what kind of person is he? Did he transfer because he's not a good kid, that type of thing? And they say he's a great person to go along with the talent that he has.
You know, they say sometimes you got to play really good teams to find your weaknesses. Well, I think Auburn will find that on Saturday. When you go play a Kelvin Sampson coach team, every bucket is tough to get. I mean, you cherish every time you score against a team like this. Team is physical. They play his brand of basketball, tough, hard-nosed. They'll play in this game over in Houston where the Rockets play. So it's a great game for Auburn to kind of really, truly find out where you are.
Yeah. Bruce is not afraid to schedule tough. And he's kind of proven that over the years. I want to schedule somebody I could beat every time, but he'll get a tough schedule so that the schedule rating will get the rating that it needs to have.
Yeah, as I look here, they got Houston, they play Kent State, North Alabama, and then Iowa State, one of the best defensive teams in the country. They travel to Duke. Richmond's always a very tough team. They got Ohio State, they got Purdue on this non-conference schedule. By the time they hit the league, they'll have a good feel for kind of where they are, their rotation, who they can depend on to win in the SEC.
I think what he needs to do, Barry, is get Wimp and I to do the scheduling for him.
I'm about to say, I know you and him didn't have anything to do with his schedule.
we wouldn't have. We wouldn't have our footprint or palm print on this schedule, would we?
Yeah. Dad would be playing like Louisiana Monroe, but he would tell them just to put Louisiana on there, and people would think it might be LSU.
Twice in third place.
Yeah.
Play them twice in third place.
Oh, he'd play William and Mary. He'd play William on Friday and Mary on Saturday. Times have changed.
You keep talking, you're going to be out of the wheel. I think he's taking you out 3 or 4 times already.
Hopefully he doesn't know how to listen. He'd have to be able to download the app to make that happen. Alabama basketball is deep, Coach. They are deep. Now, Nate Oates smart. He's redshirting 2 really, really good players, but that kind of helps. He's got 1 injured, so now he only has to worry about trying to play 10 and keep 10 guys happy as opposed to 13. So it's probably the right move for him. They take on Arkansas State tonight. Brian Hodgkin comes in. McNeese State comes in Monday with Will Wade. You know, they'll have more talent than you think. But then they got just an onslaught of tough games there. I don't know if you saw any of the Alabama, but they're deep. So the basketball in Samford's really good. Basketball in this state is back to the days of when you and Dad had it rolling, isn't it? It seems to be good all the way around.
Yeah. And add Gene Bartow to that list, too.
Yeah.
Gene really got things rolling at UAB there about the same time. At that point, all 3 of us are pretty good. And I think it certainly helped basketball in the state of Alabama. It brought their attention and took it somewhat away from football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
12 months of football became not quite 12 months. We give a couple of months to basketball. And it worked out really well because we all were pretty good during that time.
All right, nobody knows Auburn as well as you do. I know the football fans there are probably frustrated at this point, and who can blame them? But you got to have hope. Do they still have hope there? They've got a great recruiting class committed. Now they got to get the signatures on the paper there. But if you don't have hope, then it's hard to sell tickets. It's hard to keep people interested. I think they have it with that. But how important is it for those guys to retain the guys that they have that can really play and then hold on to this recruiting class and give it hope going into the 2025 season?
I think when the hope is going to get a little greater when they get a little more belief in the head coach. You know, all he has to do is stagger just a little bit, and they say, well, he's not the man for the job. Well, I think this man is a good man. I think he's a good man and may be the man for the job. But what being the man for the job is, I really don't know. This SEC is so tough.
Yeah.
And you can be building a program, and people will still not be very happy because they expect to win national championships at Auburn, even though we haven't, but they expect it.
Yeah, no doubt. Since we don't have him on, maybe we could let you talk a little bit about when you guys used to do a show. How difficult was that on a daily basis to do a show with him? Because he's often wrong, but never in doubt. And so sometimes that can be difficult to deal with. I don't think people understand how difficult a job that you and I have had over all these years.
We had a great relationship. The only time he ever got under my skin, I took him to a NASCAR race. And I got him in the suite of the owner, the guy that built the track. And he goes in there and goes up to the TV and tries to change it to the Golf Channel. He's changing the TV in the suite of the owner of the track at a NASCAR race to the Golf Channel. I thought he was going to get us run out of there, much less never invited back.
Have you ever seen a guy like him? He never parks in a bad spot. He thinks he can park anywhere. He comes to the games here. I mean, he's got a spot. He wants to park, I mean, literally on the front row. The lady's like, nah, you can't park there. I've never seen a guy. He goes to Legacy Arena for the high school games. He's got his own cone in the back of his car. He'll get out and put the cone down and park right by the arena. Have you ever seen a guy like that that can get into places and and
I worked with him for 8 or 10 years. Yeah, I know how he is.
Yeah, he's got a.
Have you ever talked about driving down the highway there from his house to the radio station?
280, yes.
280. The 280 lady, everybody would duck when it's oncoming.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Coach, we appreciate you being on with us every Friday. I was happy and sad when I saw that you weren't going to be calling the games. I love to listen to you. You're the ultimate homer. You get on.
I tried my best to be that, Barry.
That's what
I really worked on that part.
Yeah, Brian Passig, you got to be more of a homer. See, Brian needs to learn from you. He's young.
Tell Brian to give me a call. I'll tell him how to do it.
There you go. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it, and hopefully we'll talk to you before you do the deal on December the 8th. But it should be fun time now with college basketball going on, college football. So it's a great time to be a fan now. So you can sit back and enjoy.
Thanks for having me on. I always enjoy being with you guys.
Thank you.
Fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there's Coach Seaman. Turn it up, Chase. That's nice. All right, if you're looking for that traditional banking experience with a banker who calls you by your name, we invite you to get to know the great friends down at Bryant Bank. With 4 offices in the Tuscaloosa area, you can experience unbeatable service and legendary results right here close to home. If you need a bank that offers balance and great service and the latest technology, then Bryant Bank is the choice for you. They do a great job for us. I know Dad has had a relationship with them for numerous years. They're throughout the state, Bryant Bank. So get by there today, open up an account, business account, and tell them that Wimp and Barry sent you. Phone lines will be open. We'll take this break, 205-342-9904. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. That line is getting a little longer and heavier on 2059 on the southwest lanes at Joe Malisham Parkway inside that construction zone. So you do have a delay back to 359. And we're also picking up the pace on McFarland on the
RexMD.com. We've made the process fast, easy, and affordable. Visit RexMD.com right now to get started. That's REXMD.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays unseasonably warm today. Partly sunny. A few isolated showers are possible through tonight. The high today 80. Tonight's low 64. For tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. A chance of widely scattered showers. The high 79. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 69 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Your home for Alabama Crimson Tide football. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. All right, this playoff committee, they'll, send out the top 25 again this Tuesday. I think there'll be teams eliminated each week now. Teams will be jumping in and out. And so it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens this weekend and what happens with the rankings there. Currently, Oregon is number one. I know JC was thinking they shouldn't be number one, but why not? I mean, they're 9-0. And he was talking about, they haven't played Georgia's schedule. Georgia, I mean, they didn't look great against Kentucky. They didn't look great against Florida. Played very poorly here in the first half. So I think Georgia should feel fortunate, quite honestly, to be ranked ahead of Miami. They got Georgia currently 3. Ohio State. Now, I would agree with those guys. I think they've looked okay, but they are sitting there currently at 2. But Miami is 9-0 at 4. So if anybody has a gripe, maybe they should. Maybe Miami should be 2. Texas 5. Penn State 6. Somebody's talking about Penn State should fire their coach and they're 6. Makes no sense to me. Tennessee, who I don't know how good Tennessee is, Chase. I know they beat Alabama. I don't think they're better than Alabama, but they did beat them. So if it gets down to 10-2 with those two, I wouldn't like my chances there. All right, let's get to the Yellowwood hotline and bring Dale in. Good morning, Dale.
Good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
We're good. Dad had to drop off. It's just me and Chase this morning. He was with us earlier, but he's handling some business. But what you got this morning?
That's okay.
What you got this morning?
Yeah, I think this ball game is going to come down to two things. Alabama's running game, and especially with Milroe, I think he's going to have to make quick decisions.
Yeah.
And not be hesitant like we've seen him be and hold that ball and stand back there. He's got to make a quick decision and run the ball when he has a path to run it. And the running game itself, the 2 running backs we got, and how much pressure we can put on Nussmeier. That's my key to victory for Alabama. That's what it's going to take for those 2 things to happen to come out of that Baton Rouge with a victory.
Yeah, I know Coach said on his show they've had speakers at practice. They did not handle the noise very well at Tennessee. That's always a factor, especially in Baton Rouge at night. So we got to handle the crowd as well. There's no better way to do it. I've said this all week than to go on a 10-play drive, running the ball, chewing up yardage, getting first downs, running the clock. That could take the crowd out of it. But if you make some mistakes, Dale, as you know, that place can get into a frenzy. It can get ugly down there. So you gotta, you're not gonna play mistake free, but you can't give them a bunch of free things to keep this crowd into it. You gotta try to take them out of it a little bit, don't you think?
All right.
Yeah.
I've got tickets to the ball game tonight, and I just want to say something about the basketball team.
Sure. Go ahead.
In my opinion, the best 2 basketball teams in the country right now is Alabama and Auburn. I've seen Auburn play the other night too, but I think that's the 2 best teams in the country right now. They had a little guard, and I can't remember his name, but he hit like 6 threes in a row for Auburn, and them and with their front court too. It's just Alabama and Auburn right now. I would just I would have to say it'd be hard to beat either one of those teams right now.
Yeah, I would say
that's all I had, guys.
All right, thank you, Dale. We'll see. Auburn will take on Houston tomorrow. Chase, you were going to say something. That they'll get a real feel for it. You are. There'll be nothing easy when you play Houston tomorrow. Auburn, Alabama will play them out in Vegas. So Alabama's got a tough schedule. So does Auburn.
Yeah, it's actually cool to see how much competition is going on in college basketball. Like every night is a good game. Alabama and Houston, mark that down.
Yeah.
What's going down in Houston, man? They've had content. They've had players every year in the top. It's
in my opinion, Kelvin Sampson's the best coach in college basketball. His team takes on his personality. I think Nate Oates is right up there with them. But this guy, they play stifling defense. They're tough. Those kids are tough. He pushes them so hard. And so when you play them, you better bring your lunch pail. You better bring it all because they're going to fight you tooth and nail. I know Alabama had a great win here against them. Then they went to Houston, I think, and beat them as well, which is one of the better games when Brandon Miller was there. I think that was when Brandon Miller was there. But I know they've had some great games with Houston. It's always gone right down the wire. We'll see how Auburn handles that. It's not on their campus arena. It's in a big arena, but we'll see how Auburn handles that on Saturday night. 8:30. All right, back to the Yellowwood Hotline. Get Tony in. Good morning, Tony.
Hi, guys. You doing all right?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Doing good. Barry, I wanted to ask you first off, how's your mother doing?
Not good, Tony, to be honest with you.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's just mentally she's struggling. So if you're struggling mentally, it's hard to get better physically. You know, not that she wants to, but it's just been a struggle with having to get her shoulder replaced, and she fell again and broke her hip. So she just she's been in and out of so many different places. It's just been tough to see. And she, I know everybody says they got the best mom in the world, but like people that know her, she's a saint. So to see her go through this is very, very difficult, just to be quite honest with you.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Barry.
Thank you, Tony.
Barry, I'm with you on the game. I've had a bad feeling ever since, and I'm with you too. I agree. I don't think Tennessee's very good. I think it took Jalen Milroe. Barry, if you look at that game statistically on his end, he has the worst performance of any modern day quarterback at Alabama, at Tennessee. Not just for Jalen Milroe. I'm talking about any of them.
Yeah.
And it took them. And the game, in my opinion, should have been a 4-point game instead of 7 because we all but gave them a field goal. We went for it on 4th and whatever it was on the 30 or 40. But yeah, I could see Mississippi State hanging with Tennessee, honestly, this weekend. But I think Tennessee's got 2 losses coming, Georgia and Vandy. I think you're right. I think South Carolina. I think they put it on Vanderbilt this weekend.
Yeah, those guys will hit you so hard. Diego Pavia will be lucky to finish that game. If he run him a lot, he's going to take some. He better get to that sideline because those guys will lay the wood to you. So,
Barry, you know more about that program than I do. Did the defensive coordinator was he there when those guys on the defensive front were recruited?
You know, they've changed coordinators there. I know they did the offensive coordinator, and I don't know their staff as well as I have. Obviously, because Shane Beamer was actually an assistant there for Steve Spurrier when I was there, so I know Shane well. And I think the kids really love Shane Beamer, and he has. There's a balance there where they really like him, but they also respect him. And I think you know what I'm saying. Like sometimes they can like you. But they treat you they don't treat you the way they should. Yeah, but they respect him and like him. That's a hard balance to get there. And so they've done a good job with that. I mean, they've given away a couple of games. That LSU game and the one here, they could be in the playoff conversation. So he's done a nice job there. It's just hard. There's not a lot of talent in the state, so it is hard to go to Georgia and get the guys and beat Georgia or even Alabama. So it's a tough job, but I think he's done pretty well there, to be honest with you.
I agree. let me ask you this about Auburn. Do you think Hugh Freeze wants out? Something's not right there, in my opinion. They're getting beat by teams that don't even have a lot of the talent, not even most of the talent Auburn has, and they look bad when they lose. It's not fluky.
Well, they don't know how
to win.
They play so conservative. It's almost like they're just expecting to lose instead of just putting the pedal to the metal. They're so worried about making a turnover. Now they're just so conservative. They don't do anything to threaten the defense at all. I don't think you can play like that. Kids don't want to play that way. It's hard to coach that way. You're coaching with your two hands tied behind your back. I think you got to let it rip. And I hadn't seen them do that. You only score 7 points against Vanderbilt. Come on.
Yep.
At home.
And Barry, and I got to tell you, I'm starting to think he doesn't let his coaches coach. 1 week it's the offensive coordinator's fault. Next week it's somebody else's fault. Then he takes over the play calling, and it looks worse, according to him, than he took it over. It looks worse than it did the week before.
Can you imagine the texts going back and forth between the assistants about the way he treats them?
No, I can't. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's coaching to get fired because they would owe him a heck of a buyout. But I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if he is confident in himself. He doesn't look, to me, they don't look confident. And if you don't look confident as a staff, you got to think your players are going to see it too. Well, I know they do.
These guys now too, nobody ever wants to get fired. And but when these buyouts now are this big, is there really a ton of pressure on these guys, to be quite honest with you? When you got to pay me this much and I'm doing so poorly, I don't know that the pressure on these guys is what it used to be when these guys weren't. They got this life-changing buyout money now. So
Jimbo Fisher's kids and grandkids won't have to work again.
So what real pressure did he have on him to get that thing right? Hey, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna get $70 million or whatever he got.
Right, fire me. Yeah. Bring it on.
Now the assistants, there's pressure on those guys because they got to go find work. But that's crazy, to be honest.
Well, my dad used to always tell me, son, in the long run of things, pride will never pay your bills. But in that case, I'd be a little bit less prideful and say, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
So,
what you going to do?
But anyway, absolutely.
I think Ed Orgeron had the right mindset. You're going to pay me what? To walk out that door over there? All right, let me get my stuff. I'll be walking out.
Absolutely.
Here's my account.
Right. Well, anyway, I hope Alabama can pull it out, Barry. I think they can, but I know that when they come out on the field, if they get the ball first on offense, a lot of those plays will be scripted.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens when things don't go right. Does Milroe go back to the bench with his head down again? Does he sit by himself? That to me is a telling story. And like you said, and we talked about yesterday, the dumb penalties, the self-inflicted wounds, and all this. It's got to stop. If it don't, we're going to get beat again.
No doubt.
But
thank you, Tony.
Anyway, all right, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, we'll take this last break. We'll get to Digger and wrap up the show. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Friday morning on the Gary Harris Show at 9 a.m. It's the TGIF edition live from Innisfree Irish Pub, part of Fridays at the Free. We're going to have our Bama football trivia giveaway, plus my SEC point spread predictions, guest, and more. That's Friday morning, 9 a.m. live from Innisfree Irish Pub.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We've had quite a pleasant TGIF this morning, folks. Now, not to say that we hadn't had some slow rolls across the area, a few of them at least. So, inside the construction zone, you do still have that crawl a bit here on 2059. Southwest lanes at Joe Malisham Parkway, it's got traffic a little bit on the slower side back to 359. And you're
the place to be. Visit us now to save big and discover why so many are switching to BMW. BMW of Tuscaloosa. Take your dreams for a drive.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays unseasonably warm today. Partly sunny. A few isolated showers are possible through tonight. The high today 80. Tonight's low 64. For tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. A chance of widely scattered showers. The high 79. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 70 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. All right, get right up to the Yellowwood Hotline. Bring Digger in. Good morning, Digger.
Well, it sounds like Dale knows his basketball. Really? You can score 90 points all you want. You better learn how to play defense, especially when it comes to Connecticut.
Yeah, you got to play defense. There's no doubt. But some teams can, even when Mike Krzyzewski was there, they play great defense, but they would just go to a number you can't get to offensively. And so we'll see if Alabama can do that. Auburn can do that. But there are some tough defense. You are going to run into some buzzsaws at times when those shots don't fall. You better be able to defend those nights when that happens.
You know, Sarkisian said in light of the news that broke out yesterday about a 5-star receiver leaving the program, especially when he was slotted with the number ones in the spring and slotted with the number ones in August, and he's now out of there. You start jaw-jacking about playing time, your ASS is out of there.
Where was that kid from, Digger? Where was he from, Digger?
Who, John T. Cook?
Yeah.
He was from Texas.
Was he a freshman? What year was he? I saw they had a kid leave, and that was
he was a sophomore.
Sophomore.
So, and look, he was in the system. He got outworked. And the one thing, and this is why I was calling, because you said the word hope. Sarkisian said, hope is not a strategy. You cannot show up here with 4 5-star receivers and hope to be in the lineup. You're going to have to work for it. So watch to see where John T. Cook goes. It looks like it's going to be SMU. So he did
that's
go
what those guys have to get. They have to get a guy on the bounce back like that, and then hope that he, sometimes when they get a wake up call, then they perform the next time. We'll see as that happens. And some guys just aren't very good. They're not playing for a reason, and when they get to the new place, they say, no wonder they weren't playing him. So we'll see where he falls.
They didn't play him because he didn't want to block.
Yeah.
Now, Jackson is an NFL receiving coach, and he has the ticket to the NFL. This is what you got to do to get to the NFL. And, buddy, you better block.
Yeah.
If you don't block, that's it.
Well, you're only going to get so far. That's right. So go ahead.
It's just I was going to say, oh, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. All right, I'll let you go.
All right, buddy, we'll talk to you next week. Later. Go Gators. All right, Gators. That line's going the wrong way. It's 22.5 right now. So I can get Florida in 22.5, Chase, and I can get Florida State in 26.5. What's happening in the state of Florida? What are these teams doing? I thought that's where all the football players were. Evidently not. If I can get 22.5 and 26.5, who knows? All right, that's it for today's show. The Blue Plate Special's in. That line, if you liked it at 5.5, you ought to love it. Now it's at 4. Army and North Texas. So we'll see what happens there. See if Dad can get that thing to 7 and 5. Guys, have a great weekend. Alabama basketball tonight. Get out and support Nate Oates and this great team. It should be fun out there. High school football, safe travels to the teams that are traveling, local teams. Get it done tonight. Let's get on to round 2. It's fun time in these players' lives. Listen to Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports. Have a great weekend, everybody.
the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax on the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Join a club near you. Offer ends November 13th.
See Home Club for details.